Larry Bird was one of the biggest trash talkers in basketball. And a lot of people say, really?
He say, okay, he's a little better. He say, but don't ever put no white dude on me because that is disrespectful. I was like, okay. Now, I don't know how America gonna feel about that.
They'll be all right.
Shit, like we talk or
Let me tell y'all something. Bird used to tell me, look here, man, I'm gonna go shoot this motherfucking jumper in your face right there in that corner. And it's gonna be your Christmas present. I'm gonna wrap it up and bust your head open. All that shit.
Larry Bird would probably beat LeBron 1-on-1.
Really?
Oh my God, Bird talk trash to everybody. It's disrespectful when y'all put a white guy on me.
And I'm looking at this guy like, he's nuts, you know?
Did you really say that? Who's playing for second?
Yeah, I did.
I would say that we got a chance to change the league.
Yep.
What a blessing it was. He ended up in Boston. And then his personality was Boston.
Right.
And it worked for the whole league.
Here's a player who turned 7 guys into Hall of Famers. Admit it, they weren't just beaten, they were shook, straight terrified. MichaelJordan once snapped at someone who dared question this man's place in history, and Magic Johnson straight up said this guy saved careers. And Charles Barkley, he doesn't dance around it. He calls him the most dangerous trash talker ever. But here's the wild part. This legend never jumped out the gym, never won foot races, and spent half his career playing through pain that would have broken most athletes. So why was he so unstoppable that even the GOATs still talk about him decades later? Stay locked in, because what these legends admit flips the whole idea of basketball greatness upside down. Let's rewind to one of the coldest trash talk moments ever. And yeah, it involved a rookie. Atlanta Hawks, 1983 playoffs. Dominique Wilkins just got drafted. The human highlight film, bounce for days, confidence sky high.
Long in this league, Holmes. Dominique's frozen. The Hawks bench is watching, and before anyone can process what just happened, the game tips off. First possession for the Celtics.
I got your first playoff game is against Boston, 1983.
Oh, it was? Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
You guys had great battles.
Yeah, you know, that was the first time Bird ever talked trash to me. It was my rookie season. Probably the only thing he said to me. I'm guarding him. My first play, you know, he's coming down. Wasn't upset he made the 3. I said, but this son of a gun just called me home. That's who he was, man.
First playoff game, he walks onto the floor and sees Larry Bird stretching on the sideline. Dominique does the respectful rookie move, walks over, hand out for the pregame shake. Real professional stuff. Bird looks at the hand, locks both of his behind his back, and drops words that stick like scars. You don't belong in this league. Dominique freezes. The Hawks bench is staring. Before anyone can even react, tip off, first possession, Celtics ball. Larry Bird catches it quick, high jab step, one smooth move, arc 3, splash, nothing but net. He jogs back on defense and mutters just loud enough for Dominique Wilkins to hear, "Told you." The entire Hawks bench just sits there stunned. This isn't regular basketball anymore. This is mental warfare, and Bird is running it like a pro. Wilkins later admitted that one game messed with his confidence for a whole season. Every time he guarded Bird, that voice came back in his head. "They made a mistake putting you on me." Bucket after bucket followed, with commentary included, free of charge. And if you think that's the peak of Bird's cold streak, wait until you hear what he did to the round mound of rebound himself.
So Leon Wood was one of my teammates, and we're sitting in the locker room getting ready for the three-point shooting contest. Bird comes in and says, "Which one of you is gonna come in second place?" Which one of you gonna come in second place? Nobody said nothing. It was one of the best scenes I've ever says, "Man, I wish we had casinos. We could bet on LarryBird gonna win this three-point shooting contest."
Dallas, 1986. All-Star Weekend. The three-point contest is coming up. Locker room buzzing. Charles Barkley is sitting with his guy Leon Wood while everyone debates. Who's hot? Who's been practicing? Who's ready? Then Bird walks in, scans the room like it's already decided, and drops one line that echoes forever. "Which one of you's gonna come in second place?" Silence. Not a word. Barkley's thinking this man has lost his mind. Then he admits something crazy later. He says he wished there were casinos nearby because everyone knew it was over. And sure enough, Larry Legend doesn't even take off his warm-up jacket. Shot after shot, pure money. At one point, he lifts his finger before the ball even drops. Splash! The arena explodes. Barkley would later say, "I've never been destroyed faster without a single dribble." And that's coming from a guy who made a career out of trash talk. But here's what makes this even crazier. Larry Bird didn't just beat people. He embarrassed them while barely breaking a sweat. That's a whole different type of confidence. Guys slowly realized this wasn't just skill they were facing. It was someone living inside their heads, rent-free, no warning, no escape. And Charles Barkley wasn't the only one who learned that lesson the hard way. There's a young kid from UCLA who thought he could talk back. Late 1980s, Market Square Arena. The Indiana Pacers are down 3. Bird walks to the free throw line, crowd going crazy, and this skinny rookie named Reggie Miller decides to play mind games. Loud cough, fake cough, trying to mess with Bird's rhythm. Classic rookie move, happens all the time. Bird freezes, slowly turns his head, locks eyes with Miller and drops a line that rewired his whole career. "Rook, I'm the best shooter in the league, understand." Then Bird calmly sinks both free throws, pure, not even close to the rim. Pacers down 5, and Reggie doesn't say one more word the rest of the game. Years later, Miller admitted that moment changed everything for him. That's when he realized trash talk isn't just noise, it's a science, and Bird holds the PhD.
I called home. I said, "It's true about this boy." I was calling everybody. This dude can play. So I said, let me see what he can do.
But Larry had something that most white boys don't have. Just say that. Just keep it real.
Man,
Larry different.
I saw this dude eat Jack Givens up. He was Player of the Year that year.
Kentucky, right?
Yes, from Kentucky. Oh,
Yeah.
And so that was my first time seeing him, and then to be out on the court with him in college.
Miller became one of the greatest shooters ever, but he never forgot that lesson. Bird didn't just beat you on the scoreboard, he educated you and made sure you remembered exactly who taught it. And if rookies caught that brutal treatment, imagine what Bird's biggest rivals went through, especially the one guy people say saved the league with him. Magic Johnson loves flashing that smile, Showtime vibes, Hollywood rings, all of it. But when the talk gets serious, Magic admits something most fans never stop to think about. "Larry Bird saved my career." That's a direct quote, not helped, saved. Here's why it matters. In 1979, the NBA was on life support. Ratings were flat, games were stuck on tape delay, and people just didn't care. Then 2 rookies walked in the same year, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, and their rivalry dragged the league back from the edge.
Beginning, I wanted to be friends, but Larry didn't want none of that. You know, I smiled all the time, and he knew that I will smile at you, but I want to cut your heart out at the same time. So
my thing was when you compete, you're really not friends. You want to keep an edge, and I was like that through high school and through college. You know, he got that big smile. My goal was to try to take 3 of them teeth home with me.
By 1984, Bird versus Magic in the finals pulled 40 million viewers for Game 7. 40 million, numbers the league hadn't seen in decades. Magic even admitted, "We got a chance to change the league." And they did. Magic called it a blessing. Bird landing in Boston, that cold edge matching the city's attitude. And somehow it worked for the entire league. But here's the part people forget.
Enjoy yourself, dog. Y'all gave us the run for our money. Yeah. I'll see you. All right, take care. Thank you. Work on that golf game of yours.
Magic wanted friendship. Early on, he smiled at Bird, cracked jokes, tried to keep it light. Bird wanted none of it. Bird told Magic straight up, "When you compete, you're really not friends. You gotta keep an edge." Magic later admitted he smiled at opponents while still wanting to rip their hearts out. And Bird, his mindset was darker. He wanted to take 3 of Magic's teeth home with him. That's the intensity. These weren't just games, they were wars, pure mental warfare. And both of them lived for it. Magic Johnson still calls Larry Bird my brother in competition to this day. And even now, Magic admits, "I still can't believe what Larry did to us in '84. That tells you everything. But even Magic never saw what Bird's own teammates witnessed on one unreal night in New Orleans, March 12, 1985. The Boston Celtics are in town to face the Hawks. Robert Parrish remembers walking into the gym that morning. Bird stretching, loose, calm, no stress. Then Larry casually drops, "I feel like 60 tonight." Parrish laughs it off. "Yeah, right, Larry. But once the game tips, Bird isn't just scoring, he's calling it. Left wing, off the glass. Bucket, corner three, a splash. Right hand hook, money." The Hawks bench isn't even angry anymore. They're literally leaning over each other, cheering for Bird. They knew what they were watching, greatness in real time.
So he's a tough, hard player that you actually, you get angry at sometimes.
Everybody does. I mean, it's a common thing. If you had 273 professional athletes here, professional basketball player, and you say who's the dirtiest player in the NBA, you know, I say 95%, I say like LarryBird or Larry Bird.
Really?
Yeah.
The NBA actually fined Atlanta later for celebrating an opposing player. Bird finishes with 60 points. Parrish swears Larry could have dropped 70 if the coach hadn't pulled him. He still laughs about it. Parrish said it best: "We were just passengers on a fire truck that night." But here's the wild part. Bird wasn't some athletic freak. He couldn't jump out the gym. He wasn't the fastest guy on the floor. He just had this supernatural ability to see plays before they happened. And he made sure you knew it. That mix of skill and pure showmanship created an aura nobody could touch. And that's exactly why one man who almost never gives compliments put Bird on a pedestal. Now, this is where the title really hits, because what Michael Jordan said about Larry Bird will seriously flip your mindset. Back in 2013, Jordan was doing a Q&A. Someone brought up LeBron James, asking if LeBron was the greatest small forward ever. Jordan, usually calm and careful, didn't sugarcoat a thing. He said people were missing the point. Larry Bird was better than any small forward who ever played. Let that sink in. That's Michael Jordan, the man most called the GOAT, saying Larry Bird set the standard, not LeBron, not anyone else. And this wasn't politeness. This was respect earned in battle. Jordan spent his early years chasing Bird's shadow. Every time Chicago Bulls faced Boston, Jordan had to measure himself against that legend. And when Jordan's Bulls finally got past Bird's team years later in the Eastern Conference Finals, cameras caught a real moment. Jordan walked up to Bird, who was coaching by then, and hugged him. No trash talk, no ego, just respect. Later, Jordan admitted Bird taught him more about mental warfare than anyone else. Bird would tell you the shot, name the spot, then drain it anyway. Jordan's respect wasn't poetic, it was survival. He didn't admire Bird because it sounded good. He admired him because Bird forced him to evolve. He watched Larry Bird break people mentally, and that's when it clicked. That's what separates good from truly great. And if Michael Jordan felt that way, imagine the stress coaches felt trying to game plan against Larry Legend. Pat Riley battled Bird for over a decade. He saw Jordan at his peak. He watched Magic Johnson and the Showtime Lakers run wild. He coached some of the greatest players the NBA has ever seen. So, when a reporter asked Riley who he'd trust with the final shot, his answer stunned everyone. If I had to choose someone to take a shot to save a game, I'd pick Michael Jordan. But if I needed one to save my life, I'd take Larry Bird. Not to win a game, to save his life. That's the level of trust Riley had in Bird under pressure. And it wasn't just talk. Horace Grant, who guarded Bird, tells a story that proves it. Before a play even starts, Bird looks at him and says, "I'm gonna fake left. Shoot a right-hand hook." Grant locks in, play starts. Fake left, right-hand hook, bucket. Grant laughs about it later. "He told me the script and I still couldn't stop him." That's not just skill, that's mastery. And with all that dominance, Bird's greatest weapon wasn't even shooting. It was toughness. By 1988, his back was wrecked. Constant pain, heat packs stacked on the bench, face twisted, barely moving. His teammate Danny Ainge remembers Bird struggling just to tie his shoes before games and still going out there to destroy people. And minutes later, Larry Bird would walk out there and casually drop a triple-double. Opponents mocked the back brace, thought he was fragile, thought they finally had him. Big mistake. He torched them for 34 points, 17 boards, and 9 assists like nothing was wrong. Bird once told reporters, "If I'm walking, I'm playing." That gladiator mindset is exactly why Karl Malone said Larry wasn't quicker than you. He was tougher. Most players would have retired. Most would have taken the easy exit. But Bird played through pain that would have ended careers, and somehow he still dominated. That's the real line between legends and everyone else. It's not just talent. It's refusing to quit. It's that mental edge that says, you're not beating me today. I don't care how bad it hurts. And here's the truth that 7 Hall of Famers all agree on. Strip away the vertical leap. Forget sprint times. Ignore shoe deals and highlight reels. Greatness comes down to 2 things: brain power and toughness. Larry Bird weaponized both. He used elite basketball IQ and ruthless trash talk to live inside opponents' heads, then backed it up with grit that forced respect every night. MichaelJordan admired Bird's mental edge. Magic Johnson credits him with saving the league. Charles Barkley, Dominique Wilkins, Reggie Miller, Pat Riley, Robert Parrish, Horace Grant, Danny Ainge, and Malone all tell different stories that prove the same thing. Bird wasn't the fastest, he wasn't the highest jumper, but he was the smartest, the toughest, and the most mentally dominant player of his era. So here's the question. Does stat sheet dominance beat mental mastery? Can you be the greatest without jumping out the gym? Drop your Larry Legend moment in the comments. Best story gets pinned. And maybe, just maybe, you'll convince someone the GOAT conversation has to include a guy from French Lick, Indiana, who made legends admit they were terrified. If this video changed how you see greatness, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs this truth. Legends don't just play. Larry Bird rewrote the game.